Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to East versus West.
You guys hear me? Hear me? Let's see, I'm gonna plug this sucker in. There are plenty of good matches. Devon, left hand, and super heavyweight Stoneburn, your 115 champion for cash grab. Well, welcome everybody. You guys are amazing because this week has been full of conversations with Vienna coming up next. Here in Europe, it's 2 a.m. Well, thank you for staying up. It's but I am having a lot of fun past few days. So Robert will be joining me in well, he'll be joining us shortly to get started anyway. We send him a link so he doesn't miss that. But so all the questions. Oh, check this out. Benji has been getting some incredible views for his personal channel where he does. Sorry, it's I don't know. I was up for a couple of hours and the internet was fine, but now it's all dead all of a sudden. So super big apology there. Oh yeah, I'm back. Let's see. So here's a message that I think we should talk about. I can't believe the league would have the audacity to try to talk Devin into a weight cut if he is trying to focus on the open weight. He is a legend that bends over backward to help the league. We've always given the athlete final confirmation on whether or not they would like to, be part of a match. Sometimes it's a little frustrating sometimes because uh, you know we think we have a good match all set up, and then the athlete's like, "Oh, I'm not ready," and then okay, we have to move on to the next guy and whatnot. Uh, so this just goes to show that we take into consideration the athlete's well-being first. So there's that, right? Um, let's see. Oh, I think my internet's back on my main computer. Let's see. Apologize. It's kind of internet's kind of not the most stable here. Another question about athletes. Dexter, why y'all give Alijan no matches even though he's a fan favorite? This is something we'll discuss a little bit more when Robert gets on. But for the most part, we are offering matches. We are. So let's just hang tight and see where everything comes down to. But yes, we are offering him matches. The next question we have. Well, so if no more is off and Devon can't cut for Alijan, who's left for Devon for February? We have quite a few options. We have quite a few options, and we'll probably. I don't know if you're ready to reveal it, but that's a. We'll hang tight for Robert when he comes on. Here's another thing. Okay, Dexter, can you play music in between rounds while the athletes rest so it's not entirely quiet? We could, but wouldn't that also affect our commentators when they're speaking? So something to consider about. Unless you're thinking just background noises. Perhaps. I'll I'll look into it. I think we've tried it in I want to say Chicago. We had an in-house DJ, but we found him to be fairly expensive because usually whenever you bring a guy on, it's going to be over $1,000 plus easy, and then with all his equipment, it'll be several $1,000 just for that small segment. I need to think about the value of this person. So there's that component. Here's another recommendation by Gregors Knudsen.
Hey, Dexter, you should look into Penguins, aka Moist Critical, as commentator. He has done plenty of arm wrestling videos and collab with Devin. I've seen his nickname around. I gotta figure out who that guy is, but good to know. Let's see. Main hotel in Vienna. Let me look it up. It would be the Plaza Inn, I believe. I'll confirm that and make an official announcement so everybody can book tickets. Oh, I mean, rooms, but I believe it's a Plaza Inn. Happy Sunday and happy holidays. I'm actually in Asia right now, so it's actually already Monday morning. Here's another recommendation. Hey, Dex, just something to think about. I think the backdrop when the arm wrestlers are fighting should be plain and not have athletes' faces. There's too much going in the background. You you are not wrong. You are not wrong. Matter of fact, I've already made that adjustment going forward. The backdrop with faces, it's not just too much thing going on. It's that most of our cameras, our main cameras, we have it manual focus. And but our roaming camera, because of how it's being hoisted high up, we won't have the ability to control the iris. So we had to set it on autofocus. And at times, if it's on a bad angle and the autofocus notices there's a face at the back, it goes crazy in terms of the you know the focus, and it goes back and forth because it can't figure out which face on the background or the foreground needs to be focused on. So yeah, so that's not gonna happen anymore. We'll keep it a little bit cleaner. And also we noticed that because usually all events we have sort of a theme, right? Typically we try to match it with the existing feel of the state. Example, so right in Switzerland, it's red and white. And interestingly enough, Austria is also good, that their colors are also of similar. It's going to be in the reddish zone. Um, so we have the jerseys and the backdrops of similar color. That could cause a little bit of like camouflaging. So we might want to, so we will probably pay a lot more attention to that. It's one of the lessons learned. Uh, albeit we probably should learn it a little bit faster. But yeah, we got to make that slight change. Uh, Next we have another question. Why is Alijan claiming Devon is ducking Vitali and claiming he changed the date in his favor? I'm I'm not I don't know where he's getting his information from. Um, he may not be following the media or the news as closely. I would guess because any would anybody would know that that isn't the case. So, and I don't have to rehash the whole story, but we know that wasn't the case for sure. Oh, another person just put up music is a terrible idea. DJ is asking Dexter, just make Devin and Tobias on the left. Not only does it make sense, but Tobias is a difficult stylistic matchup for Devin. You know what? I've been reading all the social media channels, and I am actually seeing that that's kind of the case, to be honest. I'm seeing a lot of people pushing that. But we'll see what Robert has to say when he comes on. I think he's coming on like in 30 minutes or so. Hmm. So y'all got it. Personally, I hope it's David Darikan. Oh, I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Was it an Alijan match or to Devin's left hand? Let's see. Yeah, well, the commentator should fill the break, not music. That's where I was kind of getting at. And so here's another weird cat eating. Are you guys going to bring back the ring goals at some point? Well, better question is, did we ever have a ring goal at East versus West? That is the question. So it's one of those where to me, ring goals are along the lines of smoke machines and say coal sports, right? If we don't have them, nobody's gonna really miss them. And if we have them, nobody's paying attention and hoping they can see some coal sports. That right? I mean, what's the likelihood of somebody buying a pay-per-view just because there's a cold spark or a ring goes? Very low. So that's why it's kind of a lower priority for us to think about right now. Hmm. But hmm, I'm not saying that we won't ever have it, but just not something we think of right now. Hey, Dexter, what do you think of Aussie Arm Wrestling's suggestion of only having 6 matches in February and make more profit? Well, here's the thing that I think everybody needs to kind of understand from an East versus West standpoint, or EVW sports, really, is it's not like everything else in business. You need to spend money to make money, right? Most of the time, right? Either through an investment, if you want to open a restaurant, you got to spend a lot of money building it out, training your employees, coming up with the menu and the recipes and whatnot, right? All those takes money. So anybody who thinks that a cash grab at the very beginning, that's probably not the wisest, because what essentially that we've talked about having a smaller card, yeah, it will probably and to be fair, all right, just look at our prelims. We don't make barely any money off the prelims, maybe a couple of YouTube monetization, but that's in the direction we're moving, right? First, we need to have enough matches for a lot of content, okay? And content is good because that it showcases the world, all the new athletes, right? Second, if we don't have enough matches, then we it's more difficult to fulfill athletes' contracts. And if you don't get athletes' contracts, then everybody is going to be scattered all over. And we're trying to consolidate where they have more opportunities to pull. Third, when you have more matches, now obviously it's a fine line. We're not going to put 20 matches and go on for 6 hours or something. But it's a fine line between giving people enough value for how much they're paying for pay-per-view, right? And not. So I could see that move to be viable if we have a broadcast deal, say like with Netflix or the Zone or Paramount, really, right? And then once they give us a fixed kind of like budget per event, then we could have, realistically speaking, we can have 12 events, we can have 15 events, we can have 24 events a year with a smaller card. Uh, you know, so but we are not quite there yet. And until we get there, we need to make sure that we give athletes enough matches, and so there's more and more content out there. So we are not really looking from a profitability standpoint right now. Obviously, it is our future that we want to be profitable, but right now we are, and sometimes to say that we're not profitable, and and it might sound really scary, but our goal is, if everything costs us, I don't know, example, $1,000 to set up and everything, our goal is to be about break evens, right? So about, and then maybe you say we lose money, maybe it's because, if our cost is $1,000, we were maybe $950 in revenue. So we lose a little bit, right? So that it's along those lines. We kind of project them so that we don't lose too much money, and so it's at least a sustainable process until we grow the sport, until the economy gets back up. But it's usually along those lines. No sense in trying to do a quick cash grab, like some people would think. And so profit is not really on our main focus right now. Our main focus is grow. And then people would be saying, "Hey, why is there a paywall?" I mean, one of the biggest thing, it's the whole paywall with the extended polls. I think there's a massive, again, to clarify, and I mentioned this a few times. People who've been on my show, would remember that the this weekend, right? It's mostly releasing full matches. And then as soon as that's over, we'll release a couple behind the scenes stuff, and then eventually we'll release the whole extended polls. Now, the idea behind the extended polls, it's for a few things, right? The biggest thing, like absolutely the biggest thing, it is for the athletes. Okay, the athletes are getting uh half of almost half of all the revenue received from the extended polls, and then another portion of it, it's mostly paid to the broadcast companies. So the athletes, and I'm glad to announce that we got the numbers back, and 100% of everybody who bought the extended polls all used the code. So everybody got that discount, and the remaining money that was collected, half of it goes to the athletes. So, so right now the athletes are some of them are naturally incented, like motivated to do a lot of promotions, right? And you see them like, say, Michael Thorpe, right? He naturally promotes very well. Like he's very active on social media. We can see Camille this morning. He's asking people to watch some of the full matches, right? But then there are some athletes who are not as well. Um, they're not as well oiled when it comes to social media. And having this promo code, the idea also behind it was to see if we can incentivize them. We can incentivize them to do a little bit more promotion. And it's mostly a self-promotion thing, because we want them to say, hey, come support me when I pull next weekend or whatever, right? So that was kind of also another motivation factor of why we did this pilot program. And we are gonna actually, I was talking to Robert, we are gonna change it up a little bit, right? And again, I thank those people who supported us. It's mostly trying to give more value to our viewers. So here's a new thing that we are probably gonna come up with. All we're gonna see the schedule, but it's very likely in Vienna before our main event. We are gonna section off the extended pass to also include people who are in the day before finals. So all the finalists will now be on the extended pay-per-view pass. Uh, Again, athletes, and this time I'm opening it up to content creators. So if any of you big content creators would like to reach out to me and work out a deal, I will send you some paperwork and get you listed on to have your own code for Vienna. Yeah, because again, and all this is still work in process. If you guys have any ideas, happy to to listen to them. Now, the one other thing that we are also making a slight change is that going and I know this was a little, I don't know where that whole confusion came from, but I'm gonna make that change. It's all annual pass holders have the all the extended add-ons for 2026 included in the price as well. So just throwing it out there. We've also reduced the price by $10. So it's, I believe, $129 and change for all 8 events and all add-ons. So that's and and so I hope people really understand that we're only getting a couple of dollars because the rest goes to the athletes or the broadcast companies. And the couple of dollars that we get is used to pay for the labor and manpower to have sort of an extended day, really. Um, because now they're broadcasting a little, a couple of hours longer. So there's that. Hope that kind of clears up things a little bit. Somebody mentioned Jake Paul. Robert's coming in about 20 minutes, I think. Jake Paul, yeah, I did see that. That's a good point. That's a good point. Hmm. Well, question is, I don't know how to get to Jake Paul, but Jake Paul would be, I mean, he would draw a lot of eyes for sure. And I actually posted on my channel, on my personal social media, because they have an incredible platform where, like, that match wasn't even close, in my opinion. That match wasn't even close. If Anthony wanted to take out Jake Paul in the first round, he probably could. But the way that they marketed and promoted that match, the, it felt like it was a real match to contend with. So I kind of told my teams, I said, hey guys, let's study this promotion and see how they did what they did. And it's like Devin pulling me, and somehow or other I made the whole world believe that I had a shot against Devin, right? Like how does he do it? So something to consider. Red color affects the video. Yes, red color. Yes. Um, I think what they did was it was more to highlight the backdrop to see if it blends in with the whole feel and vibe. But I already told them I'm getting rid of that whole red color, other than outside of the walkouts, because what I hated was that when the gimbal camera was behind the head ref, that angle, it was mostly red light and it was kind of distracting to me. So that's also changing. Oh, here's a super chat. Can you tell us how the promo codes played out? Any athletes sell more than you expected? Let's see. Everybody had you know, promo codes used. All athletes had promo codes used. Let me pull it up, see. I won't announce the numbers because I think that's still pretty private. But let's see who surprised me the most. I mean, everybody should know that the biggest promo code purchaser, it's probably the highest, with the highest number of subscribers. It's Michael. So that one wasn't very surprising. But in terms of looking at everything, um, it's not super surprising, honestly. It's not super surprising. I mean, people who pushed really hard had decent numbers, like Mindaugas had decent numbers, but the other one that had pretty decent numbers that came out from relatively nowhere, it's Mayan. So Mayan also had pretty decent numbers, from a percentage standpoint. There's let's see. Ringos is corny from L Sims. Yeah, that's why Robert and I felt like we don't need it just quite yet. We don't need just quite yet. A few people in the chat is also like Luis Rasmus 6568 says, please no Ringos. Yeah, you see, it's one of the things where it's quite polarizing, and I don't know if we need to be that polarizing right now. So 8 to 10 matches seems to be a sweet spot for me. That's where we are kind of shooting for. That's why we kind of broke out the prelims. That it's an optional thing that you could stay on to watch or just go straight to the pay-per-view. No, I do not know. I only saw the first round video, like just like everybody else. So no updates on that side. Here's another super chat. Casey Byrne. This is real. Recurd is scary for Devin in a year. I don't know about a year, but I think he'll be scary. And just like something that we learned, Robert's kind of idea is to make sure that we don't throw any upcoming stars to the wolves, or technically the deep end, so quickly. We need to gradually kind of make sure that we take it step by step and let them work themselves way up, right? So Recurrent and Devon won't happen for a while unless Recurrent's on a crazy win spree. Uh, you know, but I don't know if it will happen in 2026. If you release Devon versus Zurinov after poll the day after the event, it will probably get gotten 400, 500 views by now. Now, again, then it's kind of a balance, right? I mean, if we release let's take it one step further. Let's release the main pay-per-view the hour after. I'm sure I'll get millions of views. right? But then we'll also have maybe our pay-per-view sales drop by 90% at that point. You see what I'm saying? So that there is a balance between releasing it too quickly and also releasing it or never releasing it, right? So we are releasing everything. It's just it will take a little bit of time. Right now, our main thing is to edit all our full match videos, and it's not quite as simple as just cutting the two ends off. We have to make minor adjustments, such as YouTube. You know, a lot of the walkout musics are copyrighted, so we have to clean and replace them. Right, we have to add intros, outros. So, but we have already started releasing the full match videos. So Adamantium is saying the bigger the polls channels, the more views they attract, just like musicians bringing their own fans to the concert. That's absolutely the case. So, you know, one thing to look at is people with a disparity between, uh, you know, the disparity between what their subscriber count is and what's the percentage of all extended pass purchased. So that's where we see outliers, right? I'm sure when we have, you know, top stars like say Devin Pulling and Levon Pulling, I'm sure their code's going to be used a lot heavier. Uh, but you know, it's actually the other guys that I'm looking at to see who's been actually helping promote quite a bit. So there's that. The Vienna hotel code, I believe we'll be getting maybe more than one hotel, so I'm sure we might get some codes. But for sure, I'd say don't wait to buy your plane ticket right now, right? That's like probably the best thing you can do right now before it gets higher and higher. Because our venue in Vienna, it is going to be massive and amazing and very, very beautiful. Let me see if I can find some pictures for you guys. And then you guys might be salivating a little bit. Um, if I can find them. Well, maybe I'll do it later. Let's see how much how much to meet the athletes. So we'll probably have VIP tickets that will, and this time we're bundling it with the hotels. So you'll get, I think, 2 nights stay. And the idea is for VIPs, we can guarantee you a meet and greet with the athletes. For everybody else, we can't guarantee it. Because the VIPs, they have access to several private sessions that are not open to the public, right? And usually we have so the process, I don't know if people know how the VIP works, is when you purchase the VIP, you'll be included into, we will send you a link to a WhatsApp group where when you join, we'll give you updates and you have communications with our VIP coordinator, and we'll release all the location and timing and schedule where all the athletes things are happening. It allows you to meet them one-on-one, essentially, right? And I'm also in that group chat. So if you as a VIP are unable to meet an athlete for whatever reason, uh, I've usually tried to make it my own personal mission for you to go find and get your athlete and have a one-on-one. So in the past, I even call an athlete down when, after an event and says, hey, there's a VIP who's looking for you. And so, I think it was Matt Mass in Arlington, and he was in the middle of his shower after his match, and he came all the way down just to meet the VIP. So that's the level that we can make the commitment that you will meet every athlete. If you want to grow the sport, stream it free, absolutely free, then use sponsorship because it will blow up. This pay shit is not going to work at growing the sport. Well, um, that is eventually our goal, right? When we get to broadcast, we will, part of the whole broadcasting, we will do it. But at our level, we are paying like six figures, well into the six figures, every event, right? I mean, just like our broadcast and AV usually is already in a six-figure range. So we want a sustainable model where we're not saying we need to go be flush with cash right now, right? All we want is enough runway where we could be doing this for years and years to come, right? And still put on a good show. If we do it for free within a year or two, that's we might be out of business because it's not a sustainable process. You see what I'm saying? So there's another question about Ivan Matushenko. If he'll be coming back, let's hold off for when Robert comes in on that one. Uh, yeah, we need Devin versus Mike Tyson. 324 saying. Well, I'll probably beat him, not in anything physical. Oh, you know what? I probably can beat him maybe in a 100-meter dash. That's where I'll probably can beat him. Another troll here, Mr. Roberto Soto is asking if Devin is my boss. No, Jody is my boss. Let's see. Um, let's see. Another comment here by Wyatt is saying Mayan looks scary strong against Jason Momoa last Saturday. Mighty impressive young man. Yeah, I mean, here's so technically I don't know if everybody knows, but this is actually the first card that Robert and Snezana put together from scratch, from A to Z, right? Uh, in Atlantic City, and you guys saw how unexpected. We had so many great moments that was put together that it's probably by far for some the best event of the year from a matchmaking standpoint, right? And yeah, so this is really the first in Switzerland. A lot of the matches were inherited from the matches that was slated for Baku in September that we had to roll over into November. That was created was put together. So that card was decent, but I mean, man, I'm still thinking of all the matches in Atlantic City, and those were mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. And I think you guys can expect to see more and more of that, because what happened is the one special thing that has been kind of focused on, it's pulling in a lot of, I mean, prior to this, not many people knew the level where, say, Bogdan is, and I mean, the insiders know how good Bogdan was, right? But for the majority of fans, nobody knew how good Bogdan was. Same with Mayan, and even, I mean, Jason put up a good fight too, right? So there's a lot of newer guys that we're bringing in. I think just what the sport needs is fresh, fresh blood, right? You want to we get some fresh blood in, and you'll expect to see a lot of more fresh blood. And with the whole prelim system, it allows us to do so without affecting the main event. Houdini Sports asks, not sure if this was mentioned, but EV21, there were a couple of times athlete photos was shown incorrectly in the poll. Yeah, there was one match that was incorrectly shown. I addressed it last week. Massive embarrassment, obviously. But we will make sure we do better, and we don't want to make last minute changes too. So, and I think that was the downfall. You have to be a little bit more careful of making last minute changes. Lot said the code didn't work. I I think I probably have to clarify that the code only works for the extended pass, not for the main pay-per-view pass. But thinking about it, I might have to reconsider that. But yeah, for the most part, the code mostly only worked for the extended pass. Yeah, let's Samusha and his title. Yes, we'll address that in a second when Robert comes on. And Robert should be coming on any moment now. Let's see. Svetan, yeah, Robert, Yeah, sorry. Sorbigil is asking any news on Master Svetlana Gashevsky, I think. Robert's working to lobby to get him back on East versus West because I mean he's in his I think early 50s and he's primed to come back on the main stage. So I know Robert's working really hard to get him back in. During match introductions, what about showing the athletes' EVW card wins and losses as well as the current rankings? That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. We've talked about that. Uh, I think maybe we can start soon. We can start soon. And the reason why I hesitated to pull this off, well, to put this into action, is because, uh, well, a lot of our athletes have pulled less than 5 times, and so their record on screen would look pretty weak. Uh, you know, because it will just show, say, you know, 0-0, or like say Ayane Takenaka, right? Her record would be 0-1. And then Victoria would be 0-0, right? Something like that doesn't look very appealing on screen. So until some of the athletes really have more appearances on East versus West or King of the Table, then it might look a little bit better, right? So there is that to consider, really. Schoolboy Left is really strong, could have another prelim match for the right match. I mean, yeah, potentially, potentially. I mean, he showed that he could handle even Devin himself. Schoolboy needs a new name. Schoolboy needs a new name. He's going to be 30 years old and stuck with that. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to the Borman brothers. I don't know if you guys are following, but yeah, he's doing some pretty interesting training there. With Michael. Uh, and who knows, we might see a Kings move out of Rickard in his next super match. I actually did see him training for it. Let's see. Any update on potential Leonidas match in April? I haven't heard back on this too much. Robert might have a little bit more on this. Random question, Dexter. Do you vape? Nope. I've never put a cigarette in my mouth before. So vape is definitely out of the question as well. I just yeah. The younger Borman brothers is quite formidable as well. That is true. That is true. I'm gonna skip one of the comments there by Salvation Damnation, but that's pretty funny. Paliantic at 85. Ooh, you might be onto something, buddy. You might be just onto something. Al Sims have an idea here. He says you should be cutting and editing stylized shorts of the pay-per-view, dropping those throughout as teasers for the full releases of the pay-per-view right before the next pay-per-view. You're not wrong. Typically, the first priority, because it's the longest to work on, it's the full match editing. Now, it's not to say we have like a massive editing team, right? We have a decent team, but not big enough where we can, uh, you know, have both the team editing the full match videos and also the team working on the the shorts as well. So usually we kind of do the full match edits and then we'll move on to the shorts that backlinks into the full match videos. So, but I don't know if anybody wants to volunteer and help us cut, clip, and edit things. Very happy to do so. Here's another one who's supporting Talent Nick. Would be great. Uh, VIPs get access to Matt Mass in the shower. Well, for the right price, Matt might agree to it. I don't know. Let's see, there's Houdini says, think about it. There's a card every 6 to 8 weeks. $20 is not much, guys. Support arm wrestling. Thank you very much, Houdini. There was a post on Reddit this morning I was reading. It says, look, UFC is charging only, I think, like $90 or $80 for the whole year for it. And And I went into that Reddit thread thinking that it was going to be a whole bunch of people hammering us that our annual pass is higher than that. But I was pleasantly surprised. If you guys check this out, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. I was pleasantly surprised that most of the people, they were pretty supportive of, the whole thing. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Share screen, UFC share. Let's see if it's sharing right now. So says it's okay, $60, right? UFC compared to EVW price. I thought, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna get killed here, right? But you see a whole bunch of people's like, kind of supporting us, saying like giant company versus small promotions, right? It's not fair. Another one is, it's disingenuous comparison. UFC is streamed by other platforms. EVW does not have the luxury, right? And UFC, their pay-per-views were like $80 each, and 12, it's $1,000, right? So it's reasonable, niche, low volume products generally price higher than mass produced, readily available, popular products, economies of scale. Uh, I've been watching UFC since the beginning. UFC has always been $60 to $80. So, I mean, generally speaking, like this thread was very supportive. So I think everybody who has, you know, has come this, we have come this far, and you guys haven't given up on us, even though it was a kind of a dicey thing a couple of months ago, early in the year, and I'm just happy that you know that I think based on viewership count, we are growing. So I so I'm pretty happy with that. Uh, I have not chosen my match yet, and the reason is there's no reason for me to choose my match yet because all the match set by Robert and Snezana has been fantastic. I mean, just look at Atlantic City; it's been extremely entertaining. A lot of close matches, even the ones that were in a blowout weren't really a blowout, right? So no reason to pull out that thing yet. Haven't really found a need to do so. Maybe I'll never need to use it, but just throwing it out there. Can the prelims be on the website stream, or is it too hard to do both? During our watch party, it was hard to switch over. No, I believe the prelims was on the pay-per-view and on YouTube as well. And I apologize if I didn't make it clearer, but it was on both. Am I satisfied with the current ranking system? Any plans on changing it? No, I'm not satisfied with the current ranking system. But guess what? I don't think there's any perfect ranking system. I don't think there is, because there's always going to be exceptions, right? So that's why I think it's the current system where it replaces the spot of the winner gets to replace the spot of the winner of the loser if it's on he's lower ranked. It's not perfect. I mean, there's a lot of talk about whether Michael should be ranked higher currently or not. It's quite challenging. It's again, there's no we could argue for hours and hours, which we did internally, and we still couldn't come to a happy conclusion that everybody was satisfied with. So I think one of the fundamental problems is too many weight classes. Men's combat sport works best with 5 weight classes and maybe 6 if there's oversaturation. 5 is the sweet spot. Well, I think in arm wrestling, we have one level that makes it a little bit more challenging, right? It's that now not only we have all the weight classes, but now we have both hands, right? We have both hands. So you essentially double the amount of divisions, which is which makes it a little bit more challenging. To, so there's that. YouTube prelims should be headlined by people with big channels. Shaw versus Camille or Lost, for example. So yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, this time we had, I would imagine that it was a reasonably good, or anticipated match, we had Rickert and Schoolboy. Like in no other promotion that would be given out for free, right? Now, granted, it's the left hand, but it's still Schoolboy and Rickert, right? So we have that. Let's see. Okay, Robert's joined in. He's getting his camera all set up. So we'll give him another couple seconds to get going before we put him on. Uh, Devin versus Schoolboy. Somebody's mentioning MC, but Devin would destroy Schoolboy. Devin had been pulling like 30 hours and was deathly sick. Fair, fair. That's. I mean, Devin's not pulling. He's always pulling somewhere. And it's probably why he likes freedom arm wrestling so much, because it's literally you can pull anywhere. All you need is something to for your elbows, and you're good to go. Schoolboy is gonna look young at 40. Don't ruin your lungs. I don't know, man, but a lot of countries, like I think Singapore has already banned vaping. Malaysia is next to ban vaping, so maybe vaping is not the way to do things. Just something to consider, guys. Schoolboy needs to start learning English so he can actually communicate. I think just like everybody else, like even I myself, I try to learn other languages, and I know a decent amount of languages, but some of them are that my proficiency is pretty terrible, maybe at a kindergartner's level, right? And I hesitate to speak it because of the fear of saying something wrong. And I think like say like Schoolboy, he actually knows some English, but even at the event, he would just whisper to me in English, or just maybe one or two words. So I think it's more about practice, and they'll get there. I mean, look at Susanna's. But we speak English all day long. I don't speak Russian at all, and we speak English all day long. But when she gets on camera, she's like, "Oh, I don't think my English is good enough. So let me speak in Russian, and let's get a translator coming." But her English is actually very, very good. She just need to get a little bit more confidence. Let's see. Jeremy Parker is saying, "Hey, Jeremy, I'm sure you had a great time with the Borman brothers. Saw you guys pulling. $20 is a very fair price for events. Hell, I'll pay $50. Yeah. When are you gonna make backstories about athletes facing each other to build the hype like the UFC did? It really gets new fans interested and emotionally involved when showing friends and family. Uh, we started a few things this time. Well, one was we well, all those needs to be done way ahead of time. And it usually costs a lot of money because, example, so this time, a week before the main event, we had Coach Ray and Tina fly to, uh, meet up with Michael, and they kind of film a bunch of stuff in a couple of days. And but to put everything together wasn't quite as easy, and or we couldn't put it together quickly enough for Atlantic City because of time constraint. But very, very likely we'll be able to use Michael's footage and put something together before his next match. And you know what? None other better to ask than Robert, who's on. Maybe Michael might pull Levon. I don't know. That's a Robert Baxter thing. So, Robert, you on?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Great. Great, great. We have there's a lot of questions about and it's usually surrounding between who Devin's gonna pull in Vienna. So I don't know if you wanna address that.
Yeah, so I don't think Morozov is ready for a really tough pull like Devin. He's viewing Devin as not a very tough pull. He's thinking that Dadikan or Vitali or Alajon would be a tougher pull for him. I don't know if that's just him, getting people excited for the match or not, but that's what he did say. So, but the fact that he is saying or has said that he is not 100% ready, I think we have to go with somebody else. We can't have athletes that are not 100%. unless they want to do, an easier kind of a entry back into the league. Now what I was thinking though is that Devin and Morozov would be the best. I mean, I think the fans would agree with that as well, and that's why we announced it. Is that we thought that would be the best match if Morozov was completely healthy. Now we were asking him month to month, hey, are you ready? Where are you at? Just so everybody knows, he didn't have a surgery on his left. It was on his right wrist, did a surgery. So there's really no way to know other than what looking back, we probably need to make a change and ask for doctor's notes, not just the athlete saying they're ready, but actually get the doctor to say they're ready. And then they've got to train after that. So it's going to be a longer time. So once we have the doctor's note, then there's going to be some period of time where they're going to be full out training. And so I think we have to change our policy a bit because we can't just rely on the athletes to tell us. So in this case, I think there was a few things that was said on that video with Morozov. I've asked Alex Pacarazzi, our translator, to go and translate every word exactly correct what he said. And actually, Morozov was being very humble. He said, I don't know if I can win. He normally says that too, by the way. He's pretty humble. He doesn't really go out saying, I'm going to crush this guy. That's not his style. But he also said that he doesn't deserve to be at the ranking that he is on the left hand, he doesn't think, because he didn't have enough matches. Well, to me, that's being really, he's not giving himself enough credit because he had a phenomenal match with Vitaly Levitin, and I believe he would have won that match. In fact, everybody watching it would probably come up with the same conclusion that Morozov was going to win that match, and he was in complete control of it in the first round and even in the second round until his injury, and then he still kept pulling, and he did well. So it went long. It's a very, very tight match with an injured Morozov. So I think Morozov is being far too humble in this case, and so I'm really not sure what the circumstance is with him and really where he's at, as far as his health. But I think we need to get a doctor to weigh in before we can actually schedule a match for him. So I don't think we'll be able to schedule a match. It doesn't make sense for us to schedule something for Vienna, although I think that would be great if he was ready. There are lots of other matches though for left hand for Devin. We have I think the match that Devin would least want to do at this point would be Dadikin. That's a tough match for anybody. But he is not backing down. I asked him, would you pull Dadikin? If we can't get Camille, or if we don't, if we want to just go straight to Dadikin, what do you think? And he said, I'll pull anybody. He said, put me in front of anybody, whatever you want, I'm in. So, but he said, but please don't put me against Alajan right now at the 115 because I really am trying to bulk up, and that would really hurt me to go way down and then try to bulk back up. So, but he didn't really rule that out either. He still said, hey, I mean, that would be my preference, but he said, I'll pull anybody. So I thought that was really good. And so that leaves our options wide open. We could go with Alajan if he wants to do supers. And he's called the Giant Killer for a reason. He goes to WAF Worlds weighing 100 kg, and he beats a 220-pound guy beating all the super heavyweights left-handed. He's done it multiple times. And you see how good he is. So Alajan would be a great choice as well. But the match, but really, Devin's not worried about Alajan, even at 115 or 105. He's worried. He's more concerned about Dadikin. So I think for the fans, Devin versus Vatican would be the match. Um, I think. So we're going to go from there, but I think we have to rule Morozov out now. Of course, he's a contracted athlete. We're going to give him the matches as fast as we can, and as soon as we know he's 100%, or as soon as we can get him going, maybe ease him into it. Don't throw him to Devin, even though he said he's not concerned with Devin at all. He's concerned with Alajan and Dadikin. So that's where we're at with Morozov.
That's good. I mean, the comments are saying that, say Houdini is saying, like, looks like Morozov still needs to heal up. And matter of fact, Robert, people are saying that your Adamantium is saying Dadikan beats Devin left, just like what everybody is saying. It's kind of scary. We also
Yeah.
have, yeah, Robert, many people are actually thinking that Dadikan beats Devin. And these guys are like 100% Devon's fans too. So that might be a
Yeah,
match to
yeah.
put up to
No, I
see.
mean, that would be a very tough match for Devin, no question about it. The thing is Devin's not afraid to lose either. So I mean, like he will go at it 100%. We have a lot of warriors like that. Paul Lynn also, after his loss with Bogdan Stoika, I asked him, hey, we want to kind of bring you back, kind of build you back up, and he said, hey, put me in front of anybody. I will fight anybody. I mean, and that's always his attitude. It's just a warrior spirit, and that's the way many of our guys are. Rickard Boardman said the same thing. I have to tone him down. He wants to go full bore right at it. I mean, he wants to go Jerry Cataret. I'm like, wow. I don't think that's probably a good idea right now for you. I think we want to make sure you're ready for somebody at that level. Now he will be probably pretty soon. He's making huge progress, but I don't think we don't want to throw him into the fire quite so soon. But well, I mean, we'll give him very tough matches, but he's ready for whoever. And we have a lot of athletes like that. So it's great to be working with these champions. It's a real honor to actually have the best in the world that we're representing. And I think our job, you and me, Dexter, is to build up these athletes and take the focus away from us and put it onto the athletes, because they're so deserving. They are really the best in the entire world, and and they have so much to their potential is so great. Morozov, for example, he's a true champion as well. He's the future of our sport. He's 26 years old, uh, which explains some of the things that he says. He's just not been around enough. He doesn't really know how to present exactly. But we have a lot of work to do. So I put that on me, for not having proper training, on how to address things. And if you're not ready, let us know. Like, hey, I'm not quite ready. I really want a match. Well, we'll give you a match that's easier, in the future, or as soon as we can, as soon as we know that you're healthy. But I think we just have to communicate. I have to communicate better with the athletes so that they know what they should do, what they can't, and they know they're supported. So I think our job is really to help the athletes and support our athletes and help them get to really achieve their potential, which is massive. You look at Morozov. I mean, look at all the years ahead of that guy, and look where he's at right now at such a young age. You look at these other rising stars. We have so many of them. I hate to single out, just one or two of them, but you look at the Bornman brothers. One, Duvon just turned 17 years old, and he's giving fits. I mean, he's beating everybody in his class, and these are tough guys in his class. I mean, he did not have an easy day. I mean, he made it easy, but these guys were top open pullers, pros in the United States and Canada. And the way he handled that, I mean, I was very surprised. We had to actually go to another weight division just to find a match for him because he cleared everybody out of his weight division so easily and handily. And so, yeah, that guy has got a massive potential, and I'm glad I listened to Rickard, because Rickard told me early on, this guy is my brother is better than I am. He's going to be a bigger champion than I am. He's going to be, his potential is even much bigger. And these guys are both two prodigies, like Michael Todd said at his house the other day with the Mormon brothers. He said these guys are generational, like they're once in a generation. We haven't seen anybody like this before in arm wrestling. Not even John Brzezinski at 16 years old. I told you, he just turned 17. Was at this level. I mean, to where it's just not. It's unheard of. And so, he's beating all the top. Devon's beating all the top super heavyweight pros in South Africa. Big, huge guys, and going right through the class. This was at 100 kg earlier this year when he was 16 and much lighter, and beating the best super heavies in South Africa that are very good arm wrestlers, 350-pound dudes, 320-pound guys, and they're taking his hand. Now, he took everybody's hand at this, so you can tell how good Devon's hand is. He took Porkchop's hand. He took everybody's hand in his class in the tournament the day before the Atlantic City main event. But yet he's getting his hand taken by these South African giants and still finding a way to win. And so this guy is really, truly has got a huge future with us. And then, of course, Rickard, everybody knows him. And obviously he has a huge future. But Rickard said, and he's willing to he's willing to build his brother up ahead of himself. I mean, you know how good Rickard is. And he's saying, hey, you need to be focused on my brother, who's even bigger. He's going to be bigger than me. He's going to be heavier than me. He's going to be taller than me. He's already stronger. Like at the same age, he's a much better arm wrestler, and he's much better in the gym lifts. So if you take the same gym lifts from Devon now and Rickard back then, at that same age, Devon's got him beat. I mean, handily, in both arm wrestling wise and weight wise, in the gym. So anyway, it's just part of our big future coming up. I mean, and that's what we needed. East versus West was really starting to stagnate. We had the same athletes. We had not really any real rising stars coming in. Now we have all of these rising stars. We have the Borman brothers. We have Bogdan Stoika, who nobody gave him a chance. I mean, other than the people that really were in the know, there were a few, very few, that gave him any kind of a chance. And then he had, he had no problem with one of our champions, Paul Inn, who is still going to have a big future in East versus West. But it just shows you the caliber of these rising stars. And then you've got Mayan Shadaringas from Israel, 21 years old, and he's on such a high level. So we're going to see a lot more of him. Jason Merlo, even though he lost to Mayan, that was left-handed. That's his weak. That just so everybody knows, that's Jason Merlo's weaker hand. He says he's more technical left than right, but for sure stronger right. But the way he handled Paul Talbot and everybody else in the big field in Utah that came out, the top 8 in North America were all there, and Jason destroyed everybody right and left. And now you have Mayan, who just didn't destroy Jason, but he in the straps, he handled them fairly well. Outside the straps, Jason Merlo had the upper hand. But that's the level of guys coming up through East versus West right now, and there's many more too. I mean, we won't even talk about all of the. We don't have time to talk about everybody.
Here's a super chat. Speaking of champions, or warriors, proving astrology says, do you remember that doctor that thought Devon's arm was crippled right before he smashed Putnik for the world title? Some athletes will always have excuses. Glad Roberts guiding the ship.
Oh, thank you. We do appreciate all the support, guys. We really do, and we need it because there's so many. I mean, when we had um, the meltdown with with the East and Eastern athletes and the league and all this, there's a lot of people smelled blood in the water, and they really took advantage of that as much as they possibly could. And the people that stood by and really supported, we really appreciate, and they're still there. We really want to, really shout out to you guys and you fans. We really feel it.
So someone is suggesting Mayan versus Teliatnik. So Teliatnik has been mentioned several times on this chat, surprisingly,
Yep.
Robert. What do you think of him?
Well, let's.
Teliatnik?
Oh, I know exactly. So I saw him, and you probably saw him too, Dexter. Nirzana and I saw how dominant he was at the Swiss Open. The Swiss Open is now the largest tournament in the world's history, because it was already huge and might have been the biggest back then, before we came in. But now that we combined forces with East versus West, we had over 900 entries in that event with 25 world champions. There's never been a tournament in the history of the world like this. And this guy, Teliatnik, went. I mean, he beat everybody, left and right, um, with ease. And he's quite a character too. He's got a lot of energy. He's perfect for East versus West. So I can tell you, he will be on stage in Vienna. I can't tell you
Oh,
who, but we have his opponent, and he's agreed as well. But I will tell you that he is on this. He will be
you
on the
dropped
stage.
it. I, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't want to confirm that, but yeah, Teliatnik, you've heard it here first. He is coming. Here's another super chat by KC Byrne. He says, I love the slow and smart process, but Robert, let's see how Rickard versus Devin would go in 2026. It'll be good for him to see, and Devin also. It might be a little bit too soon. I don't know. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think,
think
Robert?
that's too soon. I do think it's too soon. I think it's going to happen. The thing with Rickard and Duvon, they're both, I mean, we have quite a few natural athletes, believe it or not, in East versus West. Rickard and Duvon are two of them, and they don't want to do anything to change. They want to continue, being natural. It will be hard to compete with somebody that is not entirely natural. Um, but we'll see. They really are not afraid. These guys are just going straight in. I mean, if we let them, they would go against Devin. I mean, Rickard would have no problem going against Devin. But I don't think that's not wise for him or for the league. I don't think.
There is there's quite a bit of chatter here. I've seen it a couple of times now, but they're thinking about Rickard versus Jerry. Everybody wants to see Jerry pull again
Well,
of what he did.
Jerry's not out. I mean, Jerry's he's a legend. He has had 3 losses in a row though, but these are against top guys. We're talking Levon. We're talking uh, let's see. So it was Levon, and then he lost to who did he lose to after that? So Levon there, and then um,
Most
wait,
recently,
if,
Camille.
yeah, well, of course he lost to Camille, but after that, I'm trying to remember who he. Anyway, he
Lalatin,
lost to
Robert.
what's that?
Lalatin.
Oh, yeah. So he's not getting beat by slouches. Now Camille, that could have gone. I mean, I thought could go either way. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. So, any rate, I don't think Rickard is ready for Jerry yet. I mean, maybe later this coming year he will be, but yeah, he's certainly. I think he's ready for to attack the top 10. He's already he's ranked number 12 on EVW, which is quite a feat inside of a year to do that. I mean that he's done it. The second match, he defeated Pablo, and Pablo was ranked number 12. I believe that's correct.
Someone saying Rickard can't handle Jerry's press just quite yet. And I guess you agree. People are now guessing who Taliatnik is pulling, and some say Samusha. Uh, you know, there's another super chat. It
No,
says
but
Rickard versus Gennady. Feed him his first Georgian. Mm,
yeah, I
so then
I
here's
don't
another
think
follow-up
so.
question. What is Jerry's future right now?
Um, well, I think we now that we've seen that Jerry has, he's multidimensional. He's not just a presser. He's got a king's move, which a lot of the guys that at a certain age, I mean, Svetan Gashevsky also went to a king's move. Um, you know, the George, they call him King George from Canada, went to a king's move as he got older. Bob Brown has gone to a king's move as he got older and done very, very well. So, Jerry, I think we're not going to count Jerry out. We're going to give him a little bit of time. Um, let's not keep throwing him in, but we want to still build him up.
So there are some people asking about the ranking systems that we currently have. Do you have any thoughts or comments about our current ranking system?
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a way we could do a better ranking, but it's really quite logical. I mean, it's hard to dispute it. I mean, Michael Todd disputed it with me. I mean, we went through it back and forth because he thought that he should be number 5 and not Jerry before the match, before Atlantic City. But he agreed with our ranking system. In the end, after the logic, he actually agreed. Yep, nope, that's right. But in the beginning, he was very much against like how we were doing it. He thought that we were doing it wrong. So I mean, I think there is a better way. I don't know what it is yet because you've got to have, if you don't go by strict logic, so just strict science, what we're doing is correct. But if you go by some art in there and you throw in other variables, maybe style, different. I mean, you can add some different variables to it and probably come up with a more accurate ranking. So I'm not saying our ranking is the most accurate. I'm not. I'm saying that it's the most logical, and it's you really can't dispute. I mean, I really don't think you can dispute that. But is it perfect? No, I don't think it is. I think we can do better.
Yeah. Everybody's saying that, well, they're saying that s- there's a lot of debate going on what's the best ranking type put in, but you're right. It's there's no perfect system. That's what I've been telling you. That there's no perfect system
Yeah,
because there's so many variables and that you have to account for. And so right now it's just
yeah.
going to
I
pure
mean,
logic.
I think if you put in subjectivity and just common sense into the logic, um, you could move the rankings around and get it right. But then it I hate to use too much subjectivity when we have the science. We have to respect the logic.
Mm. Our head ref is on the chat. He says there should be no ranks given after 4. So Luke's on.
Luke, I disagree. I respectfully disagree, Luke.
There are some that says we should. Oh, here's another question I probably should answer. Are after polls pay-per-view included in your? So we don't have after polls. We have extended polls, and I mentioned earlier in this video, Robert and I, we're going to try to put in the finalist tournaments as part of the extended polls going forward as well. So there's a little bit more content, and depending on the event, we may have to do it before, or sometimes may have to do it after our main events. So, but that will be included in our annual pass. Let's
Yep,
see.
great.
Another one is asking. Here's from a question from Focus GTO. He's asking why aren't official organizers making Zurnov versus Hermes? How long do we have to wait to see that? Why Hermes pulling only once a decade? He thinks it's Levon. So anyway, just to simplify it, what do you think of Zuranov versus Hermes?
Mm, I really can't see that being a good match for Zaranov. I mean, I think it's too weighted. I mean, I don't think it'd be close personally. I'd like to hear why that would be close. I mean, I know Zaranov has got a lot of. I mean, he's very strong and he's dangerous, but Ermis is the full package. He's got everything. I mean, he's got an answer for really everything other than at the very top, this top level. Levon, he didn't have an answer for. Devin, the first time, a few years ago, he didn't have or maybe it was a year and a half ago. I was actually there for that, and it wasn't very close, but Devin got in his head, clearly got in his head, and I don't think that'll happen again the next time.
Here's another super chat question by Roy11. He's asking, what are your plans for Samusha and his title? Any upcoming matches or ideas for him?
Yeah. So the winner I'm gonna, because we gave you one of the one of the guys in the 85 kg right hand for Vienna, Tiliatnek. And I'm not pronouncing that right, I'm sure, but he's phenomenal. Whoever wins, and I don't know who's going to win because his opponent is equally fantastic. So I really don't know. But the winner of that match will then face Samusha for the world title.
Also, our head ref, Luke, is saying that it's okay, Robert, you're allowed to be wrong.
Thank you, Luke.
It's funny. So Duvon called out Auden. What in your opinion is on that matchup?
No, that we wouldn't make that match.
Oh my God,
I
match.
mean, we already have the match set for Duvon, so yeah, we've got it. Yeah, we've got it laid out pretty well. I think it's going to be a great one. Can't wait to announce
Yeah.
it.
Yes, you have to hold back on that one. But that would be yeah. So stay tuned for Duvon's match. Another one's asking about Tobias and David, left-handed.
Yeah, I mean, Tobias really showed that he's he's the real deal. I mean, everybody knew he was the real deal before, but he has leveled up. His left arm, I think, is at a new level. His speed is amazing. He's very strong and as well, of course. Um, I don't think I don't think he's ready for Datacan, but we'll see. I mean, we'll put him up. I mean, we'll move him up to the ranks, and he'll have every opportunity.
Another one is suggesting, what about Bogdan versus Irakli?
Well, Bogdan could go. I mean that could be good. I don't think we want that match right now. Bogdan has proven that he's ready for even higher level pullers. I don't know that he's ready for Irakli, but he's certainly ready for higher level pullers in at EVW.
Here is another. I was chuckling earlier because I saw this guy. His name is Dexter Tan's Spectacle, but he's asking a legitimate question. Any upcoming women's matches in Vienna?
Yep, we do have upcoming women's matches in Vienna, and they're going to be pretty exciting actually. Um, so we won't announce those yet, but yeah, we certainly will.
Yes, yes, yes. People are seconding Irakli and Bogdan, but we've talked about it. Another question from YouTube guy 5941 says, basically his question is asking about, will the matchmakers schedule matches further in advance? And maybe you want
Yeah,
to talk about a little bit about the complexity about the matchmaking process.
Yeah. I mean, we can schedule some in advance and we already are. So we're scheduling now for April for Germany. So that's being scheduled now. Um, and then we're also scheduling a bit for our June card. So yeah, but we can't make the full schedule until we know the outcome of Vienna and Germany. So um, but we can do quite a bit. We'll have a skeleton, and we're doing that now.
Let's see. Somebody's asking for a match announcement. Technically, Robert did leak out that Teliatnik is pulling, so that is somewhat of a match announcement. Is COD still ran by us or someone else managing event plannings, if any, for next year?
Yeah, so
So,
it's well, I guess you can answer that, Dexter. I mean,
uh,
you know
I
the
mean,
answer as well as I do.
I mean, we have plans for King of the Table. Nothing's finalized yet, but when we do, we'll make that announcement. But for now, it is still ran by us. A lot of people are talking about Zuranovs and his top roll against Michael Todd. Let's see. Will we see John Berzing on EVW card again?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, John wants to. He's playing a little. He's been a little slow to come back. He had his back surgery in April, and it's going. He said it went pretty well, uh, but he wants to kind of just lay low a little bit, and so we definitely want him back, and it's just a matter of if John is ready, and if he's got the desire.
Here's another one. People, this Focus GTO is asking, GT official is asking, could we just ignore the belt and just have Alijan and Devon pull in the super heavies?
Yeah, that is an option. Um, we can do that, and I think the best option though is Datakin versus Devon.
Another another guy is asking, Fia versus Jocelyn, would it be a good match or the weight difference be too much?
Well, the weight
You-
difference would be a big factor. I don't know that Jocelyn's ready for FIA yet, even at the big weight difference. Um, she could be. I mean, that would be close. I'm not sure. I would have to think that giving Jocelyn a little bit more time. I mean, she's still building, um, and I think let's maybe keep her. I mean, I think she's ready. She's going to be ready for Egla. She was very close with Egla in May at Cup 14. Um, that would be a good rematch now that Jocelyn is getting stronger. I mean, she's continuing to rise, of course, being young and new to the sport. Um, that would be good. Thea is also a world champ, a little bit lighter. Um, yeah, I mean, Jocelyn might be ready right now for Thea.
There's a few talking about Yoshi versus Nugo as well. What do you think of that?
Um, so I missed that. So Nugo versus who? Yoshi?
Yoshi. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Actually, Nugo reached out to me today, and I haven't actually had time to respond yet. But um, I don't know that without a press, I don't know. I mean, unless you're much stronger than Nugo, without a press, it's going to be really difficult to beat that guy, in my opinion.
And maybe we'll take just a few more questions and we'll call it. Uh, Thea called out Sarah Beckman the other day. What about Sarah versus Thea?
Well, Thea's world champ. And Sarah's been injured, and and now I would have to say, let's get a doctor's note. Let's really know that she's, that she's healthy, and that she's got time to train and get back up to where she was. She would have to, in my opinion, she'd have to be stronger than she was before her injury to really make a good match with Fia.
It's fun. I mean, like this is a clear indicator that we are learning, uh, from some of the missteps like this. So yeah, I think Robert's not wrong. We will, anytime somebody's coming from an injury, it's best to get a doctor's notes. So I think Robert, many people enjoyed this having you on. Maybe let's do it more often. Let's do it more on
Yeah,
a
love
more
to.
regular basis. So come with all the questions on athletes and whatnot. But it's over 90 minutes now, and we don't want to go too long, else nobody would watch it at all. But uh, okay, one last question. Someone's asking about Dave Shafee. When is he pulling and who?
Dave
Any plans
Chafee,
for the champion?
yeah. So Dave Chafee is pulling for the title, and so I guess that's a leak too. I mean, I better be careful. So I can't tell you when he's pulling, but he is pulling, and he's already agreed, and so is his opponent. So um, we're that's happening. That will be happening.
We, yeah, yeah. Let's maybe meet about the same time next week, and we'll call it. Keep on pulling. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for coming on and answering all the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Dexter.
Everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. This is fun. Take care.